Oh, Lewis, what to say? I mean, you were sitting relatively pretty, and then lap 42, bang.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate, but still, we did a good job. The team did a fantastic job all weekend. We had the pace of the Ferraris, I think, but when you're behind them, you lose a bit of downforce, and I think we were just matching them for the majority of the race. But yeah, really unfortunate. All of a sudden, I sort of saw some bits start flying off the tyre, and then it blew. And I was quite fortunate I didn't put it in the gravel, so we still got points.
How difficult was it for you to get the car back to the pits in that state?
Well, I couldn't stop the car, so that wheel was locked, and I think the rear wheel was coming up, so it was extremely tricky, especially if you remember some people have that and they break their front wing or break the suspension, so I had to try not going too quick but get back as soon as possible without losing too many places, and I got fifth, so with that problem I think it's a good job. Very good, because even with a new set of tyres on, you were still driving a damaged car, weren't you? Yeah, I did think that the front wing would be broken, and I don't know why. I think it was probably too much time to change it. But it really made a huge difference. So I had a huge understeer and I couldn't get around the corner, so I couldn't challenge the BMWs. How much of a problem is this as far as your championship hopes are concerned? A disaster or just a bit of a problem? No, just a little bit of a problem. You always have setbacks. We won the last race and we've still got 5 to go, so I'm still leading with 5 points. It's not over, don't worry. Thanks, Liz.
He's in good heart. Still leads the championship by 5 points, but it's that man Felipe Massa who's taken victory here in Turkey. A Ferrari 1-2 with Alonso in third, and we'll be getting the reaction from the top three in just a couple of minutes' time.
Felipe, history repeats itself. From the pole, you've won your second Turkish Grand Prix.
Well, it's amazing. I mean, just second time. Third time in Istanbul, but second race in a row here, starting from pole, is amazing. I mean, it's really fantastic. I love the track, I love the place, and here is when my career just make a switch, and I start winning races and fighting with the front runners. And it's a very special place for me, and having the second win consecutive here is fantastic. I mean, it's difficult to find the right word.
Well, it looked like a dominating win from the outside. Talk about it from your perspective. We saw a little drama with your helmet at one point, and of course a big surprise for everybody in the pit lane to see both Ferraris on the softer of the two Bridgestones for the first two stints.
Yeah, I mean, the helmet, I had a crack on the cooling system on the helmet, and I have a big turbulence, when it cracks, and my head starts to go up, and then on braking going really down, and I was losing a lot of concentration. And then I just take it away and make a bit of strange behave on the straight. Just put power and took it away, and I cracked completely, and I put off. So then it was better. And what was the second question?
Well, you chose the Bridgestone option tyre, the softer tyre, both you and Kimi.
Yeah, on Friday we made a long run on both tires, and it was pretty similar. I mean, it was maybe 1-2 tenths difference between the tires on the long run, and we knew, Friday to Sunday the track improves a lot, and the soft's supposed to improve even more. So we took a gamble a little bit, but at least it was a safe risk. And especially for the start, we knew that the soft is always better, so we had a fantastic start. Kimi even overtook Lewis, and we had a very good pace on the soft.
A great day for you as well to have your family here. Your dad's had a lot of TV time today.
Yeah, I mean, he's very emotional like me in the podium for sure. The TV likes to take this kind of feelings from the people. But I'm really proud to win in front of him and my mother as well.
Well done, Felipe. Kim, it looked like a frustrating day for you. As Felipe said, you got into second place right at the start, but that's where you stayed. You pushed Felipe pretty hard going into the second pit stops.
Yeah, we had a very good car, but unfortunately this stage in Formula 1 is pretty difficult to get past, so the race was really decided yesterday already, so it's nothing else than I tried to push hard and go close when I was supposed to get there and try to do something in the pit stops, but when two teammates are fighting, it's usually whoever is first is going to stay there, so the car was very good, but nothing what I could have done.
And again, you chose that softer of the two Bridgestone tyres. Was that a big decision in terms of going into the race, how it was going to perform?
I think so. Like Felipe said, we were pretty confident that both of the tires will work very well. It would not have been a big difference in any of the choices, but we decided to really take the soft one for the start for many reasons, and it worked well. Still difficult to say which one would have been better. I think so, very equal.
Well done, Kimi. And Fernando, beaten off the line by the two BMWs, or off the line and in the first corner by the two BMWs. I guess now to be here in P3, a nice reward for you.
Yeah, for sure. You know, the start didn't went as we planned, and you know, to be overtaken by two cars and find yourself sixth in the first corner is not great. And you know, the race is a little bit over from that time. Also, you know, I was following Nick for 17 laps, and as Kimi said, now, you know, in these days in Formula 1 it's very, very difficult to overtake. You need to wait for a mistake from the car in front of you. Nick was very, very consistent and, you know, driving very well. So, you know, I wait for the pit stop. I was lucky to overtake him in the first pit stop, and then my race started, but I was half a minute behind everybody at that point. So, you know, I just take my pace to be a little bit consistent and not making mistakes, and, you know, wait for the miracle that, you know, only happened with Hamilton, and I only take that place to be in the podium. But, you know, third for sure is not the best result from the weekend.
Despite that, pretty satisfied Fernando Alonso, and it has to be said, a pretty relieved Lewis Hamilton as well. I'm sure he still leads that Drivers' Championship. His lead is down from 7 points to 5 over his teammate Fernando Alonso. But Felipe Massa moves above his Ferrari teammate Kimi Raikkonen, still some 15 points adrift of Hamilton's lead, with Raikkonen 16 points behind. Raikkonen and Massa still battling it out for Ferrari, which isn't a great comfort to the Italian team, I'm sure.
No, I don't think, but at some point they will have to make a decision, but it's going to be very difficult. You can see the speed of Raikkonen behind Massa today, but you can also see Massa doing an outstanding job. Pole to the win, you can't ask for more.
Yeah, impressions of Felipe Massa today, and that grinding consistency was very much evident once again.
Yeah, but you know, that's Massa's normal situation now. If he's on the front row or on pole position, he gets off in the lead, he commands it, and he goes off and wins the race. The problem is he's a little bit struggling when it comes to fighting through the pack. And, you know, as I said, both the guys there in the conference, it's difficult to overtake in these cars, and that's the big issue. You must qualify well, and that's what killed Raikkonen's race yesterday.
And Ferrari have been quite uncompromising about what they require in this climax of the season. It's a 1-2 in just about every race. On this form, they can do it.
I think they can, and it must be a worry for McLaren now, because you've seen what the Ferrari can do. The pace was there, consistent, no mistakes, very strong.
Well, all the analysis of how this Turkish Grand Prix was won in 1-2 fashion by Ferrari coming up in a couple of minutes' time. Felipe Massa has won this Turkish Grand Prix, leading home a Ferrari 1-2, Alonso in third, Hamilton salvaging fifth place after a tyre blow. But really, this Ferrari 1-2, it was all decided off the start line, no contest really.
No contest whatsoever, and both the cars on the clean side of the grid, and they made it very effective when they left the line. The worrying factor then was, of course, Hamilton getting dropped back into third and Alonso having a terrible start. But once those Ferraris get out in the lead, there's no stopping them. Just see here, Lewis does the right thing, very sensibly just slots himself into third position. Has a little think about it there, but the best thing to do is sit tight. Drove a sensible race.
And really, Lewis should have been satisfied with his position off that start line. What he did was really the limit of his ambitions. Little bit of carnage behind on the grid. Alonso got a terrible start, dropping behind the two BMWs.
He did indeed, and that cost him for this race dearly, because he had a bit of a fright then actually going through turn one, lost it and had to correct it. But very, very costly. He should have been a lot further up, and I think he should have been on, on the podium as he ended up, but he should have been there by speed, not just by a placement.
Lucky man tonight?
Very lucky, I think. Lucky to score some points, and he's got that gap reduced, but that's all he wants at the moment. He just wants to keep chipping away at Lewis Hamilton's lead.
Certain amount of good fortune for Lewis as well. It was a right front tyre blow. There was damage under the car. Could have been a great deal worse.
This could have been a catastrophe for Lewis Hamilton, because it would have been very costly indeed if this tyre, once it had blown, whether it's delaminated or punctured, we'll have to wait and see. But if it had damaged the car even more so than what it did, I think it would have been, no points whatsoever. And Lewis did a great job, actually, just bringing the car back. He understood what the problems were. He brought the car back at a speed which didn't put any more risk of damaging the front wing. And bearing in mind that, you know, he got the car out again, and the guys did a good job putting that right wheel and tyre back on again. Very, very good. No pressure on him whatsoever there. He handles it very well and just goes on and gets the job done. When you have a problem like this, Steve, you really are in the lap of the gods to a certain extent. And these cars are so critical now. Any aerodynamic problems or damage, it really is a killer for the lap speed.
Yes, it was a time for great composure both in and out of the cockpit as far as McLaren were concerned. Hamilton, impressive in the manner in which he brought the car in and the manner in which he held Kovalainen off in the latter stages of the race as well.
Definitely. When you have a problem like that, you have to learn to drive around it, and I think Lewis understood that straight away, got to grips with it. The first lap or so he was feeling his way, chipped away, and then his lap times came down, and they were very impressive considering the damage on the car.
So how do you read the championship battle from this point in? Monza next, then comes Spa, and China, Japan, Brazil.
It's wide open. It really is, and 5 points between the two McLaren drivers. Somewhere we're going to see some more battles with those guys, but Ferrari have come on very strong. No reliability problems for the Ferraris, and I think that may have been a little bit of a key as well, just to see both those Ferraris finish at the front today.
What about the tyre choice and the tyre tactics involved in that race? And the choice that Ferrari made was fairly decisive, wasn't it?
You know, I think some of this is down to the fact that Ferrari have been able to run a little bit more downforce, and that's enabled them to run the softer tyre. And the lap speed is very consistent, and that keeps the tyre in check. That's the plus point for them. McLaren a little bit less wing, a bit more speed, didn't work out.
OK, before we go, I think we can swiftly hear from Ron Dennis.
OK, Ron, well, absolutely gutting for Lewis. It was going so well for him. What can you tell us?
It was a failure at the wrong time. We had 5 laps more fuel than the Ferraris. I think we stood a real chance of catching them in the last stop. Our pace was good, but we, with right-hand shoulders of all the front tyres down the pit lane were getting quite high temperatures. Unfortunately, we had the failure. But good to get the points for 5th, and of course Fernando did a great job coming 3rd, and makes the points very interesting.
Yes, he recovered from being held up from the BMWs in the first stint.
Yeah, I mean, it's, even a circuit like this, it induces understeer into the car. If you've got a front tyre issue, which everybody had, that's going to increase it. So it was a good points outcome. Not what we wanted, but we were competitive, and this is a circuit we felt we were going to be a bit weak on, but we're strong in. We're going to be strong in Italy.
Finally, Mark, we talk so much about the guys at the front. What about the performance today from Jenson Button coming off the very back row?
I think Jensen done a great job. His lap speeds were actually very competitive, and that's the worry I think for Honda at the moment, Steve. They're getting a race car which is actually quite competitive, through the 58 laps today, but when it comes to qualifying, they just can't get an extra bit of speed out. If only they can find that balance to get the car qualifying well, I surely feel you get the Honda up there a bit more in terms of a top 8 finish. OK, Mark, thanks very much indeed. So it's Felipe Massa who takes victory here in Turkey. Quick reminder of where you can see our Turkish Grand Prix highlights tonight. 11:50 ITV1. They're repeated tomorrow on ITV4. And we've got Bank Holiday Motorsport tomorrow for you as well. Round 11 of the British Superbike Championship. That comes from Cadwell Park in Lincolnshire, 3 o'clock ITV4. And the GP2 race from this meeting here in Turkey this weekend, that can be seen next Saturday afternoon. That's on ITV4. And ITV has Champions League football this week, second legs of the third qualifying round. Liverpool ahead against Toulouse into Tuesday's second leg at Anfield, 8 o'clock ITV1. Arsenal leading against Sparta Prague. You can see the second leg of that at Highbury. ITV4 on Wednesday evening. And in 2 weeks' time, we'll be at Monza. Italian Grand Prix qualifying live on Saturday. The race build-up underway at midday on Sunday. And the championship, thanks to an exploding right front tyre, has just become a great deal tighter and a great deal tenser as we head to Monza. But Lewis Hamilton still leads things by 5 points. But Massa has taken the win here in Turkey.